Hi guys, from YearEnglish.com. That's me, Robbie, from English Harmony. And if you know me very well, if you've been following my videos throughout the year 2013, you'll know only too well that I'm a big fan of self-practice. Basically, speaking with myself is what I do personally, day in, day out. I never miss a day, and that's what I love doing because I love the English language and I love speaking in English, and that's the way I maintain my fluency. But here's how I prepare for important conversations, and I warmly suggest you do the same thing if you have a very important event coming up, such as a job interview or a meeting at work or a conversation with your boss or someone else in the company. Basically, if you have a very important meeting coming up, or say, for example, a presentation. You're in a college and you have to do a presentation, right? Typically, people will be very stressed out prior to such events, and obviously during those events too. Even though a few minutes into the conversation, stress kind of disappears. It's a very funny thing, right? But normally you would be very stressed out, and needless to say, the stress levels have a very detrimental effect on your fluency. So if you don't prepare for the event, you run a big risk of getting it all wrong, hesitating a lot, not knowing what to say, getting stuck in the middle of a sentence. Basically, that would be the same old typical English fluency issue that would be occurring, and that would prevent you from being successful in the job interview. And in the meeting, you might sound a little bit stupid because you wouldn't be able to say the right thing at the right time, and during the presentation, you might get stuck and you wouldn't know how to continue the presentation and so on and so forth. So, to avoid all these problems, I warmly suggest you prepare for those events by doing a simple self-practice. Basically, you have to do a role play with yourself. You have to pretend to be the other party, the interviewer, in the case of a job interview, or whoever the other person is who you're going to have that conversation with. Or, in the case of a presentation, you just have to do the presentation in the comfort of your own home, basically with yourself, when there's nobody watching you, when there's nobody judging you, and the stress element is totally removed. Say, for example, I'm talking to you now in front of a camera, right? But do you think I'm stressed out? Not really, because there's nobody in my room now. It's just me. So even though I'm addressing an audience consisting of thousands of people, right? In reality, I'm just having a conversation with myself. So there is no stress involved whatsoever. So that's one of the main reasons why such self-practice is very important coming up to very important events, right? So basically, you have to draw up a very simple plan. Say you have a job interview, so in this case, the plan might be a little bit more elaborate, not just 3 or 4 points, but if it's just simple conversation with somebody, right? You may want to just write down 3 or 4 main points of the conversation, and then write down questions. Just do a little bit of brainstorming, right? And write down questions that you might get asked, and then plan your responses. Okay? And then highlight the keywords, the key phrases from that piece of writing that you have, and learn them off by heart, so that when the conversation actually happens, you know what to say because you've actually memorized the key phrases and the key words. Obviously, you wouldn't prepare the whole conversation. You wouldn't learn it all off by heart because it's not humanly possible. And even if you did it, the conversation wouldn't happen naturally, right? But it's very important to learn the key phrases and key words. Basically, you have to be able to say at least those things without a second's hesitation, when you are asked certain things. For example, during the job interview, you are asked, what is your previous job experience in the field? you have to be able to respond with the right sentence. I have 5 years experience in this field without any hesitation whatsoever. You have to be able to produce that phrase automatically. So when describing your profile, you have to be able to talk about your education, your job experience, your qualifications, and your relevant people management skills. So basically you have to be able to describe all those things automatically without much thinking. It's okay to make a small mistake here and there, and don't try to make it all 100% perfect, right? Because that way you might be doing yourself a big disservice. The more perfect you're trying to get it, the less you'll be able to say. Because in a stressful situation like a job interview or any other important meeting or conversation, the desire to be perfect might actually result of you not being able to say any sentence, because you'll be kind of constructing the sentence in your head, right? As if you are writing on a piece of paper, and then it'll be just happening unnaturally, right? You won't be able to say things without much thinking, right? So learn the key phrases during your self-practice session, repeat them, pose as the other person, and then pretend to be yourself. So basically have a conversation with yourself and prepare for that important event. I personally do it all the time. Whenever I've had any job interviews, I've actually prepared for them in the comfort of my own home. And even now, when I have meetings at work, I have the schedule of the meeting at my disposal, so I just go through it the night before, and anything that I might be required to say during that interview, or any questions that might be asked to me, I prepare for them by doing some self-practice the day before. And believe me, guys, it works brilliantly, it works like charm, and I warmly suggest you do the very same thing if you're really serious about your fluency improvement and performance as well, because at the end of the day, all that matters is how well you can communicate with other people. And doing some practice before that important event with yourself prepares you greatly for that real life event. Okay, my friends, I hope you'll take my advice on board, and see you again soon. Bye-bye.